He waited, wondering if everything was all right. As he waited for anyone to tell him they were okay. Biting on his nail, he could hear the swarming outside of his manor as he paces back and forth in front of the quiet halls. No walking, no talking, not the sound of his wife, nor his child. Until a man walks out of the room, he freezes, waiting for the man to speak. Is she all right? How is the baby? Are they both going to live? He walked closer to the male, shaking as he wondered, painfully. Your wife is all right, though it won't be likely she will ever have children again. He paused, causing the male to hold his breath, bolting into holding the collar of the male. What is wrong with my child, Cardinal? He spat, only to start tearing again, letting go of his collar and falling to his knees. The baby girl is weak and will probably die within the next couple of days. The male wanted to cry, both of happiness, or of sadness. He wondered what his baby would look like. Would she look like her mother? Be as stunning as her mother? Though sadly, he would never get to see her grow into a woman. He would probably never get to hold her in his arms. No, there has to be something I can do, right? He looked up to the cardinal, the faint light of the lightning basking on his face every so often. And with a cold, stern look, he spoke. There is one way. Sounds of rustling of bushes and branches, the sound of footsteps crushing twigs and leaves. The movement, steady and calm, until it came to a pause when the slight sound of someone came to her ear. She couldn't quite understand it. Was it humming or talking? Or if there was more than one person by themselves? So she continued, ever so slowly. Damn it, she heard as she froze and continued to move forwards. Was this who she was looking for? Come on. It was getting louder and louder, but she had to be careful. Who knows if this was him or not? She sighed. She could now see him, and sadly, only his back. And it wasn't the guy she was looking for after all. He was too short to be the guy. But she continued forward just to get a better look of who he would be. Was it right in her mind there? Crunch. Who goes there? I'm highly venomous. One bite and, oh, you are so done. He spoke, looking all over the place with what looked to be a makeshift spear, looking around as if he was trying to find her. Well, he knows she's there, so she walked out. Who are you? He questioned. Don't come any closer or I will bite. He shook a little. I'm not going to hurt you. You weren't even who I was looking for. He lowered his spear, somewhat confused. Wait, are you a knight? He tilted his head. She could tell he was looking at her armor that was placed all around her body. Yeah? Why do you want to know? She asked, crossing her arms. She swears as if she could see stars in his eyes as he looked at her. Wait, does that mean you fight dragons and things like that? Wait. That would be dangerous. Surely no one would do that by themselves. He whispered the last part, but she could hear. Wait, he pointed. Don't tell me you have others with you, he gasped, somewhat shaking. No, I work alone. He took a breath, slowly coming down. Wait, isn't that dangerous? Being alone, just being a knight. He pondered. Yes, it gets lonely sometimes, but I don't have to worry about others getting hurt on my watch. He watched as her eyes looked down for a moment, then back towards him. Silence fell upon the two of them as they watched each other, waiting for each other to move. Do you live out here? She asked, looking around the campy-looking setup. Oh, yeah. Cave is much better than a tent for weather. He smiled. Boom. Eep! He screamed as he jumped in his spot, the knight looking over to him with a raised eyebrow. Have you never heard of thunder? She tilted her head. Oh, yeah, I have, just... He trailed off, looking over towards the dark clouds. I know we just met, but it'd be rude for me to let you sleep out here when it's raining. He fiddles with his thumbs, cheeks tinted a pinkish color. It would be rude of me if I said no. She thought for a moment, wondering if it was truly safe to be with this. Sorry to ask, but are you a hybrid? She asked as she looked at him. Yeah, why? He tilted his head and mumbled something along the lines of, did they order her to find me? Her lip furrowed as she looked to the side. Oh, nothing. She looked to be in disgust. Not with him, but something else. His small smile faded, making her notice this. Oh, don't worry, it's nothing with you. He didn't relax at that. I mean, who would be? Being a hybrid in this world was like a death sentence. And you would know. Came a noise from him as he touched his nose and looked up. Her following suit. It looks like it's going to rain anytime soon. The knight spoke as she held out her hand, as tiny droplets following onto her hand. Why, don't we go inside? He looked to be disgusted by the rain. He watched her for a moment, and then turned inside the cave, the knight following soon after. The inside of the cave was cozy, to say the least. What looked to be webbed up animals hung from the ceiling, but she could mind. She'd seen worse than that before. There in the middle stood a campfire that he was trying to light at the moment. What looked to be a table to the left of it, and right looked to be a web. What? He spoke, when he noticed that she had been staring at the spot for way too long than normal. Not just female spiders can make webs. He crossed his arms with his cheeks puffed out. It's not that. She shook her head. Just gives me some old memories. She shivered, and the little spider seemed confused. Enough about me. Why are you all the way out here? Insectia hybrids aren't seen out here very often in, human territory. He saw her cross her arms. Just, needed to be away from home. He sat down, wondering about the girl in front of him. Why did she know so much? Hungry? He asked, feeling as if his stomach was empty as it growled. Yeah, though I have my own. She plopped down and took her bag and rummaged through it, but then slowly came to a stop. How do you kill animals? She asked as she slowly put her bag back into its place. Somewhat mad at herself. When did she lose her food? Oh, I usually hit what I may until I hit them with the bow, and that's when I catch them. I only bite them when they're up and close, or the, arrow doesn't kill them first try. That's when the poison comes in. He looked pleased with himself, his hands on his hips as he smiled. Well, I should say, more than just 2 hands. She never really looked over his body, but she could think he was any normal human if it weren't for the 4 sets of eyes and another pair of arms. Oh, he finally took the hint. The poison leaves the body after some time. He smiled sheepishly. He shook his head and turned to what looked to be an area deeper into the cave. She waited. She took parts of her armor off, placing them near her other items. He came back with what looked to be a deer. This one is still fresh. Just have to cut off where I bit it. He spoke sheepishly, unwrapping it and looking at the girl's sword. You know, I didn't catch your name, he spoke. Yen, but you can just call me lady or knight. I don't care. You waved your hand. Also, here. You picked up your sword. It won't melt with just any heat, all right? You spoke with a tilt of your head. I can see that you need something to cook with. You held the sword by the tip of the hilt as he took it, stabbing the deer with it and holding it over the fire. Are you sure? He pulled back your sword ever so slightly. That fire would take a couple of days to make my sword melt. You laughed and took a piece of the cloth and started to shine your armor. He just continued to work. So, I got a question, he began. Why are you traveling all this way? He wondered, watching him as he worked. Oh, I just wanted to travel, seeing places I would probably never see without leaving my home. He slightly smiled, then turning it to a frown. Though, I think if I go home, I'm dead. He looked back. Oh, why would you die? You wondered. Well, I'm a spider. Not many people would want to travel with one or, be with. And like I'm said, I'm a spider, He trailed off. He'll get eaten after you. You knew now, and you didn't want to pry any more about his home life anymore. So, wait, you want to be an adventurer, don't you? You smiled after the realization, crossing your arms. Oh, no. Not anymore. I'm fine with my lovely old little cave. He chuckled as he waved his hands around. Aren't you scared of a cave-in? You tilted your head. He froze. Man, he yelled, looking at the wall and the ceiling of the sad little cave now. Sorry. That probably won't happen with this cave. It doesn't seem too weak. You looked around the cave, looking at all the decorated carvings of what seemed to be the rock and what was mined out of it. Though, I have an offer. You smiled at him as he took the deer off, giving your sword back. Why don't you travel with me? You tilted your head. Oh, I don't know. He looked away. You don't have to say no. You can think about it until I leave, tomorrow. You gave him a calming smile, which he smiled back. Thank you, he smiled, looking at the meal the 2 of you ate. Hey, why not I wrap you up tonight? He spoke, out of the blue, causing you to hum in confusion. What do you mean? But you somehow knew what he was talking about. Like I wrap up a part of you so you don't get cold? Keeps you warmer. He smiled. It is surprisingly warm after all. He beamed, and you could only sigh, giving him a nod. It wouldn't hurt to make the cute little guy happy. Right? Sure, just you won't. You trailed off. Oh, no, I wouldn't unless I was going to eat you. That wasn't reassuring, but okay. He just looked right at you with those big eyeballs. He then got to his knees and scrambled over to you, sitting right next to you with his hands out. Was he asking to, web me? You wondered as you looked at him, also laughing your head off when you saw him tilting his head just a bit. Sorry, I wasn't expecting you to wait for me to say yes again. You looked away, hiding your face with your hand. He only tilted his head and then looked towards your legs. I'm gonna start at your feet and then travel up. He smiled as he brought his hand to his mouth. You watched as he licked his fingers, and the web just came from nowhere out of his hands. Watching how fast his hands moved to wrap each and every little spot. God, he was good at this. That's when you noticed he came to a stop, his cheeks growing a newer shade. I'm going to avoid this area. He looked away, now working at your lower abdomen. Working upwards. That's when you realized. A slight giddy smile came to your face. God, can this spider get any cuter? Working until he made it just below your chest. All right, I'm done. Is it too tight? Is everything all right? He asked as he tilted his head. It's nice, just a little tight. In a good tight. You paused as you saw the worried look on his face change into a calming, warm smile. And what about you? You looked as he moved away to the other side of the campfire. Oh, that's when he moved his hands to the fluff around his body. I've got fluff. He smiled. You pierced your lips together. All right. That would keep me warm if I had any. You laid down and looked up. Is that good? He asked. Well, if it was winter for me, yes, but not in the summer. You looked over to him, only to see a look of curiosity, then hummed once he thought of something. Night! He flushed as he turned away, and you could only sigh, shaking your head as you closed your eyes. Next morning. Black. Dink. Dink. I groaned, feeling rocks land on my nose and our forehead. Wait, was she right about a cave-in? I bolted up, looking to the ceiling of the cave. Nothing. That was when I looked towards the night. She was awake. Another pebble in her hand. Was she throwing them at me? Can you unwed me? She asked as she raised a brow. I popped up and walked towards her. Sorry, have you been up late? I asked as I tore some of the webbing, causing her to be free of the web, moving some of her joints around and placing the armor back on. So, have you thought about it? She walked towards the cave as she grabbed her bag, turning to me with a smile on her face, her hands on her hips as she looked towards me. Oh, about traveling with you? I tilted my head onto the ground, playing with my fingers. I don't know. I paused, trying to think. I don't want to die out there. This cave is safe, and I don't have to worry about being killed by a dragon or anything, and I can take care of myself thanks to the wildlife around the... Whoa, wait, what are you doing? I gasped as she picked me up and held me over her shoulder. Put me down now! I punched her in the back with my arms, but nothing, as if my hits were nothing to her at all. Who was this woman?